and welcome to this lesson on the tune Downtown. You might remember this if you're as old as me as a big hit for Petula Clark in the 60s. Emma Bunton from the Spice Girls did a really good cover in the 90s, and that's when I got back into this tune. And please don't dismiss this as some sort of silly pop song from the 60s that you think won't work on the Melodeon. Believe me, it really works well, and it's great fun to play. Some really excellent bits in it which we've not done before. So I'm going to make this a free lesson for you, so you won't have to pay anything for it at all. You can download the full version. This is the full version, and you'll get the sheet music, and it'll be a lot of fun to play. So let's get started. So we're doing it in the key of G, and there's quite a few notes on the D row and the G row. Notes on the G row will have normal heads. Notes on the D row will have diamond heads, because obviously the main row is the G row, it being in the key of G. We're not going to be doing any umpiring on this. It's going to be lots of solid chords, bass notes and chords together. And if you look at the beginning up there, it says Downtown DG Melodeon, bars that are the same. So bars 1, 2 and 3 are the same as 5, 6 and 7, 9 and 10, same as 11 and 12, and 18 and 19 are the same as 20 and 21, and 22 and 23, and 24 and 25 are the same as 26 and 27. So there's quite a lot of repeats, and that's good news for you if you're learning this, because you won't have to learn so many bars. Key of G, so all the F's are sharpened. We're going to start in pos -1. This is a fourth button start instrument, so the fourth button down on the G row on the push, this one here, is G. So that would be position home, and position -1 is one up from that. So that's pos -1, but we're going to start on the D row. You can see all those diamond headed notes. So we're going to be here in this position. So first finger lined up on button 3, second finger on button 4, third finger on button 5, fourth finger on button 6, and it's finger 2 that we need, and the note is D. You can see it nestling underneath the stave there. Diamond headed notes because they're on the D row. And here's the first bar right hand wise. You can see a little tied note in the middle there, so you don't play the tie. So you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on beat 3, that's where the tied note is. You don't play it, but you hold the note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the bass for that bar, I've got G bass and G chord. I use fingers 4 and 3 because it's buttons 4 and 3. And then you do this. You hang on to the G chord and put a B bass with it, so you come across in this kind of diagonal pattern. And the second finger is on this button, which is button 2 on the inside row, pushing again. The whole bar's on the push, I should have said. So you go from G bass, G chord to G chord with a B bass, like that. Like that. You'll hear that little step up in the bass. So now notice where that G chord with the B bass comes. It comes on the and count of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Hear that? So it comes off the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And notice I don't sustain the chords of the whole bar, just little jabs, that's all you need. In bar 2 we have this. Now, still all on the D row. It's very unusual, isn't it, to have a tune in the key of G, but you do so much on the D row. So the bar sounds like this, right hand wise. Now it starts on the pull, so the button you played at the beginning is button number 4. You pull it to get the E. Button below still pulling gives you G, back to the E, and then same button pushed in gives you the D. Again, you've got the tie in the same place as it was in the first bar. And to finish off the bar, finger 3, finger 4, finger 3 on the push gives you F sharp, A, F sharp. So that bar. Now the bass for that, you start off with a C bass and a C chord on the pull. So it's these two buttons here, buttons 4 and 3, inside row on the pull. And then off the beat there you've got D bass, D chord, and they are the ones at the chin end, hence the asterisk. That's what I do, and I want you to do that. And that's buttons 2 and 1 on the outside row. It sounds like this. So again, on the beat, off the beat. So let's play those first two bars. And it's up to you how long you hold those basses for. If you want to hold them a bit longer, that's fine. Just, do it to suit yourself. I would pull the bellows out before you start because you've got a fair amount on the push. Now in bar 3 we finally go over to the G row and we do this. G, B, D. So quaver, quaver, tied to a quaver, quaver, tied to a crotchet, rest. So that is counted 1 and 2 and 3, rest. Like that. Now the basses are the same as they were in the first bar. So we had G called G bass, G called B bass, so moving up, moving over in that diagonal pattern. In large capital letters above that fourth beat where you have the crotchet rest, I think it looks like a bit like an upturned seagull, you're going to do a pull out using the air button. Okay, so not playing anything, pull it out, and that's going to mean you can have enough air in the bellows to complete this little pattern. And then you play a C chord and a C bass on the pull, and then you play a G note on the D row. We've played a G note so far on the D row and the G row. Here it's on the D row, finger 3. On this instrument it's button 5. It might be 4 for you if you've got a third button start. So you've got G note and then come to the button above, push in to get the D note as you play that D bass and D chord together. So let's play bars 3 and 4. And let's play the first 4 bars together. Okay, and you can hear the tune coming, and it's, like I said, it's really good fun to play. Very unusual. It's not your classic folky oompa or oompapa. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's some great tunes in the world of folk, but it just makes a nice change to get out of that world just for a few hours. Let's scroll down and see what's next. 5, 6 and 7 are the same as 1, 2 and 3, and then we have bar 8, which will be slightly different. So let's just play 5, 6 and 7 for you. And the only thing that's different in bar 8 to bar 4 is you've got not a crotchet and a crotchet rest like you had in bar 4 at the end, but a dotted crotchet and then a quaver. So you play, so timing wise it's rest, 2, 3, 4 and on that final quaver of the bar you just repeat the D. The basses of course are the same. That sounds a bit weird because it's going to lead into the next bar. Right, let's do our usual thing and consolidate what we've learnt. Let's play those first 8 bars. And like I always say, don't be afraid of it. It's either right or it's wrong. Go for it. It needs to be fairly punchy, fairly positive. Let's scroll down and do our next section. I'm going to leave that bar 8 showing because we're going to lead into bar 9 from bar 8. Now, here's our first problem. The next section sounds like this. And the first note is a C on the G row. It's the only place we can get that C. We really want a G bass there, but there's no G bass on the pull. So the trick that I've employed here is to play the bass off the beat. This is how I do it. Can you hear what I'm doing? I'm jabbing that G chord and G bass, not on the first note because I can't, but when I play the B on the push, that's where I put it in. So I count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. On the and count, that's why I put the G chord with the G bass in. And just jab that in on the push. So that sounds like this. So like I say, C on the pull, finger 3, 2 B's on the push, same button, and then the button above on the pull will give you A, and then you just repeat those 4 quavers. So you jab that G chord and G bass on the end count of 1 and the end count of 3. So it sounds like this. Let's play bar 8 into bar 9. So you're crossing row there, of course. And now we want to look at bar number 10, and it's this. All on the pull, and again you've got your E minor called E bass on the beat and then off the beat. Like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and dab, dab, that kind of feel. E minor, of course, is button number 2, inside row on the pull. E bass, button number 1, inside row on the pull. And a lot of cross row play here on the right hand side. We have G, finger 3, A, finger 2, so G is on the D row, A is on the G row, back to the G on the D row, and then first finger picks up the F sharp on the G row, back to the D row for the E, stay on the D row, go to the button below for the note G where you started, and that's tied. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, okay? So like I say, lots of cross row there. So play that with the left hand. And bars 11 and 12 are the same as 9 and 10. So let's play those 4 bars. And remember to put that G bass in off the beat. And similarly, that's a lot of fun to play, isn't it? Right, let's move down to the next page. Obviously it helps if you know this song. It's very readily available on YouTube, the Petula Clark version, and I think the Emma Bunton version, which is quite faithful to the original. It's funny, isn't it, these songs, you know, when I was a child, I probably thought it was a bit naff, you know, Petula Clark, you know, I was really into the Beatles and the Stones, those kinds of bands, but it's a great song, you know, and as you get older, I think you appreciate the music in these things. It's a really clever song. In fact, I like this song so much. Back in the noughties when I was teaching choirs in school, I taught it to my children's choir, junior school children. They absolutely loved it as well. Right, okay, so bar 13, and this is a triplet, and this is what happens. So you've got crotchet triplets. So you get that kind of staggered effect. A triplet is 3 notes played where 2 normally go. So you've got F sharp, 2 Ds, and then a further D on beat 3. Those notes are all on the D row, they've all got diamond heads, all on the push. Finger 3, finger 2, and it's a D chord with a B bass. So the D chord is button number 1, outside row, finger 1, and the B bass is button number 2, inside row, finger 2, and it's on the push, so it's that diagonal shape. And there you probably could sustain the basses all the way through that. So okay, and now this is probably the best bit of the whole thing as far as playing goes, because it's one of those things that sounds really impressive and it's incredibly easy. So this is bar 14. I'm going to play bars 14 and 15. Check this out. So you can see what happens there. You hang on to the C bass and the C chord, and it's pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push. Literally just rock it backwards and forwards as you play the tune. So it's E, F sharp, E, F sharp, E, F sharp, E, F sharp, E, F sharp. So it's the E's on the pull, finger 2, the F sharp's on the push, finger 3. And as you play the tune, just simply play the bass along with it, and it just works really well, doesn't it? The only problem you might have is that the bass might drown the tune out. I've got my microphone set over to the right hand side of my Melodeon, so hopefully it'll pick up the tune slightly more, but just be aware of that fact. Okay, let's play that again. Okay, and the next bit, similarly easy, similarly fun. And this is all on the pull, and it's all cross row. So you've got G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A. So the G is on the D row, like I say, on the pull finger 3, the A is on the G row, finger 2 on the pull. Now, okay, you can count all that, 14, 15, 16, 17, if you really want to, but it's probably just better to listen to it. Just pick it up just by, listening to it. But if you want to count it, it is 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's alright, I'll rigmarole that, isn't it? I mean, like I say, probably just listen to it. And the basses for 16 and 17, it's A bass, A chord, which you'll find on buttons, button 2 is the A bass, button 1 is the A chord on the pull, buttons 2 and 1 on the outside row, and just jab them as they appear on the music there. So you've got like that. Just play those 4 bars, 14 through to 17. Right, so that's the verse. Let's play the whole of that. I'll try and zoom out so you can see all of that. I always say this, read it off the sheet rather than the computer. It's a bit small on the computer, especially small on the iPad or the phone. So I'm using my proper sheet music here. So this is the first 17 bars. Okay, so this is, if you like, the verse, and the next bit will be the chorus. There we are. A lot of fun, isn't it? Now the chorus, pretty straightforward. In fact, these next 2 bars go 3 times, so that's really easy. Once you've learned 18 and 19, you've got 20 and 21 and 22 and 23. And you start off on the G row. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, D note, B note. So behind that you've got G chord G bass, and then G chord B bass, just like you did at the beginning of the tune. So the basses go exactly the same time as the right hand notes. Simply 1, 2, 3, 4. In bar 19, that's what you play, and that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we've done this before, the tied note in the middle. Lots of cross row stuff here. You've got A on the G row, it's all on the pull this. You've got B on the D row, C on the G row, B on the D row again tied, and then G on the D row, button above, and then return to the A on the G row. Now the bass is behind that. You've got the old on beat, off beat, C chord and C bass on the beat, and then D chord, D bass off the beat. And notice the D basses are at the knee end, no asterisks, so it's buttons 4 and 3. Same buttons you use for the G, but on the pull. So with the basses, bar 19, let's play those 2 bars, and in fact let's play those 6 bars because it's all the same thing. Like that, very, very straightforward. No real problems there, are there? And let's just finish it off on the 3rd page here, and we've got 2 bars that are repeated, so that's good news. And what do we have? Well, it's all on the G row, right hand wise. You've got it's the downtown bit, of course, and it's G, D, then you have a bars rest, and then G, D. So the timing is dotted crotchet quaver tied to a minim, which is 1, 2 and 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4. It's button 4, button 3 on this instrument. Will be button 3, button 2 if you've got a third button start. And the bass is here all the way through these 4 bars, all on the push. G chord, G bass, and then C chord, D bass. That's a diagonal. Okay, so what you have there, C chord on the push, hence the asterisk. That's button 3 inside row, finger 3, and then finger 2 will go on button 2 outside row on the push to give you the D bass. Both those basses on the push. It's a C chord. Remember, the little letters are the chords, the big letters are the bass notes. C chord on the push, D bass on the push, like that. So that's like that. So on the beat, off the beat, and then do the same again without any right hand. You'll see you've got this rest here in bar 25 and in bar 26, which is a block hanging from the line. It's a whole bar's rest, semi-breathe rest, so nothing in the right hand for bars 25 or 27. So let's just play those 4 bars, okay? Notice the use of the air button there, so operate the air button, pull out, so you've got plenty of air in the bellows for the push notes. I mean, you try not to make the air button too obvious, but there's not much you can do about that. And then you'll repeat that from the beginning as many times as you want. When you want to finish, you'll play a G bass and a G chord together, but obviously you can repeat as many times as you want. Let's zoom out, see the whole of the chorus and play that for you. And then you'll start again or you'll finish, whatever you want to do at that point. Right, let's play the whole thing through for you now.